1, 2 and 3. Where Hallenbarter was, it's a little windier. He was down in lane 9, 10.
I was going to say, if you came in for the stand, where would you try and get to?
I would go, well, we're looking at Bauer in lane 20 there. I would certainly want to be further down to the left. The flags are less movement.
But Bauer also knows that the wind is less consistent in lanes 27, 28, 29.
He knows best. He trains here all the time.
Again, 3 misses, Mike, 3 penalty loops, 450 metres. He's given away over a minute's worth of time, and even Clement Bauer cannot win from that situation. What a shame. Makaviev, good steady shooting, and he's in touch. Good start. Now, the master.
Incredibly, he's 21 seconds off Svensson's pace coming into the range.
He's going to be even more off Svensson's pace now. What a shame. Number 4 has gone wide for Bjorndalen. And today is not going to be the day. I think that's fair to say, isn't it, Mike? With Svensson going clear at the moment.
It would appear that way. There's, of course, there's the standing shoot to negotiate, and it seems to be tripping those who've been through the standing up so far.
Well, if you're wondering why there's so much of a commotion, there are quite a lot of youngsters in the crowd today. They always bring the kids up for the first 2 days of the World Cup. It's a good idea because so many of the fans aren't free to watch on the Thursday, Friday. And then over the weekend, we're expecting some pretty decent crowds. This is one resort as we watch Vitek and Bergman going together. Bergman, after his first shoot, missed the target, so he's got a tricky situation. He needed 5. I was going to say, Mike, this is a classic venue where spectators around the tracks would make a huge difference.
They would. It's a lonely race out there, and it's one of the few venues where most of the race, except the range, is in the forest. This is a great start from Vitek. In terms of his shooting, about 24 off on the skiing.
Svensson still the fastest out on the tracks so far. Pinter, Labilund, Schlesinger's going well, very well indeed, only 5 seconds outside Svensson's time in the initial stages before the first shoot. And Jean-Guillaume Bertix of France, he's also having a good start. Well, there you see the current standings after the first shoot. And leading at the moment after the second shoot, Tim Burke of USA. He's gone 0-0. Great start from Tim Burke. Are we going to see an American on the podium for the first time this year? We've had a Canadian win.
I was going to say Bernbacher, he'll probably shoot fast now, but it's just not comfortable today for Bernbacher. This wind is going to be tricky for well, it's testing the best when Pinter is missing so many, Bernbacher missing.
I wonder whether the hold that Lesser has with that left hand is going to be a little more stable in this wind.
Neatly locked in, a straight wrist giving the pressure of the rifle all the way down onto the hip bone.
Well, there are some big names taking a tumble in the early stages. Now the wind from the flags that were pretty much hanging limp, they're now blowing horizontally, so it's getting tougher and tougher. And when they zeroed their weapons, it was pretty calm. There were 1 or 2 gusts that came through the stadium, but nothing like the wind that they have at the moment. So this is all about reading the conditions and making the necessary adjustments.
Labilund has come into the range in the exact same time as Tim Burke, but he doesn't shoot fast. He's a very careful biathlete. Gets the right sight picture.
I like the fact when he missed that third one, Mike, it didn't affect his rhythm one little bit.
Didn't stress him, didn't phase him, he just kept his routine. And you often see athletes, don't you, when they miss one, they either pick up the pace rather than just keeping that same breathing routine in between each shot. This is a tight penalty loop, and when you come off it, there's always a risk of tripping up with the athlete coming out of the range who's shot clear.
Now, a chance for Svensson to make a mark this season. He's quick. He can't afford another miss. So that will be fairly close with Tim Burks. 16:40 on the clock, add another 25 seconds. And then add another 15 or so before he gets to the timing one. Svensson's not far outside Tim Burke's time and may well be able to overhaul the American on his last 3-kilometre loop. Svensson, Bertrix, Makaviev, Sednev, Bauer, the top 5 after the first shoot. The Slovenian's excited with Klemen Bauer, but we know he's going to miss 3 on his standing shoot. So now it's down to Jakub Fak, Mike.
Well, here he is, and he makes it look so easy. He's another one of these athletes that just look very comfortable, balanced on his skis. And he barely looks like he's pushing hard, but he really is covering big distance. The flags again, the wind has dropped off. This is good news for Jakub Fak.
Gillick should be able to capitalise as well. Gillick from Quebec, where the cross-country World Cup was last weekend. Now, this is going to be tough. Long hole, but he clears it, and only a couple of seconds given away, but they could prove crucial come the end of the day. Watch the clock, 8:29 at the moment, 8:24 from Svensson. Well, he's not going to match that. He's 8.7 outside, but don't forget that Svensson has gone and missed 1 in the standing position, and if Fak goes clear, he should be able to hold off the Norwegian.
He should. I think it's a pity Fak has to race with these big warm gloves. It's only -3 today, and I think you don't quite have the same feeling when you're recocking the weapon, and that cost him the 8 seconds.
Well, that's all about a frostbite injury that he had a couple of seasons ago. Svensson, Beatrix, Makaviev leading after the first shoot. Now this has to be Lars Berger. Even he can't help smiling when he hits 5. Well, that puts him in contention. He's some 10 seconds down, or maybe even more, on his teammate Svensson, Mike. 8.6, so he's running at pretty much the same time as Jakub Fak.
I think this is great news for Lars Berger, and he just looks in control there today. Of course, he shoots quite fast, and as long as he keeps it the same coming into the stand, this could be one of his best days for a long time for Lars Berger.
6 wins, all in the sprint discipline for Berger. And the Norwegians, they like to include men who can win, and no one can say that Berger can't win. It's just a question of how often he can do it, how often he can shoot well enough to give himself a chance.
Makaviev on the top screen. He's been skiing so fast, but he's missed another shot. Huge amount of movement in the rifle as usual from Alexis Boeuf.
Yeah, it's not a particularly comfortable looking position, is it, with the sort of head thrust forward?
No, it certainly doesn't look comfortable, but Siegfried Matzet, he coaches them well, and they have to achieve a very good standard in static shooting before they can even enter the national team.
Well, that's not a bad run from Abramenko, because a lot of top athletes are missing targets today. He's hit 90% and he goes into top spot for now. Bauer is quick, 53.8 inside, and 3 penalties paid. Well, it's not going to win, it will not win, but it might give him a decent start in the pursuit. which for the men is on Saturday. Women's sprint tomorrow. Well, Bjorn Dahlen's going to be at least 45, maybe 55 seconds outside the leading time after the second shoot, as Bjorn Ferry goes through the paces right to left. Number 4 is missed, 5 is down, so the majority still hitting 4 out of 5 in the prone. Tim Burke, the only man clear after 2. He might be joined. Well, there'll be a fair amount of excitement in the American camp, Mike. And although it's far too early to celebrate, they've still got Lau Bailey out there. Well, there is Tim Burke, and he has produced a great performance, 24.56. Well, the time is irrelevant. It's all about the shooting and the fact that he's accelerated over that last loop.
What a great day for the Americans. It will be so good for Burke and the Americans, but with Svensson only 5 seconds behind after the second shoot, it's a worrying time. Svensson's going to have all the information.
Well, we'll try and keep an eye on Svensson's progress. He hasn't gone through 9.2 kilometres as yet, but I suspect that he'll be up on Tim Burke by some 7-8 seconds by the time he goes through that stage.
Well, just got him now on the 8.6. Svensson's just gone through, you're right. It's 5.3 seconds he's turned it around.
Now, the undisputed champion from last year, and the man who's stamped his authority on the Tour this season as well. 4 out of 5 races in the top 3, 2 victories under his belt.
Foucault still hasn't shown us evidence of what he's trained for all summer, to release the first shot 4 seconds faster than he did last year. He's playing the stable game, and I think that's sensible. Brilliant.
Well, already Svensson's time has gone, so he'll be at least 8 seconds outside. 11.5, that's quite a big margin, Mike, but the tactic there was pretty obvious, same as Clement Bauer on the prone. Just take your time, make sure, and then maybe when it comes to the stand, we'll see him go through the routine a little faster.
I think so.